Welcome students. We are going to be doing an interlocking bowl like this in this project. So it's going to get messy. It's going to have a lot of steps here, but nothing really too crazy. It's more like keeping everything organized. It's going to be a big part of this project here. So you can see there's going to be a lot of stuff happening over here. So we're going to start off by setting some things up so that if we need to make some changes and we don't like something, we can really easily go back and make those changes. So over here, we're going to start us off, and I already have the bowl here designed, but the first thing you want to do is add a variable. So that's this button up here, variable. It's a big X. If you don't see it, start typing it in here in the search bar, and you're going to find variable there. And that's going to be the spacing of the planes of each layer, of how far apart these little ribs are going to be. And so that will show up there at the very top there. First thing you need to do right away. Then we're going to start a new sketch here. And on this new sketch, I'm just going to go delete mine real fast here. It is going to be really important that we line it up with the origin. It makes our life a lot easier if you line up your design with your origin. In math, that's like the 0, 0 point on your graph. It's where everything starts from. So all these other planes are going to pass through it, is why it's going to be a nice point to use. And we want that to be the center of our bowl. So in our sketch here, we want to start on one of the side surfaces, and we're going to start right here and just say nice center line to get us started. And from there, we're going to dimension this. Maybe is a good idea. Well, let's do like 2 inches maybe tall. And I can actually hide that origin if I don't want to see that now. And now I can draw my bowl. I'm going to keep it really simple there. And I want to say dimension this. So remember, this is going to be rotated in. So we're going to say half of the actual maximum size. So let's say like 3.5, because we don't want this to be more than like 7 or so. And again, we're just keeping this real simple. You can do whatever you want with your bowl. I'm going to do an offset so that the inside of the bowl has a consistent wall thickness of the bowl. And I'm going to say like 0.35 maybe, somewhere around there. And I'm going to put the edge of my bowl at, I want it to be nice, like this maybe. I'm going to just trim off this. So once you got something you like, you can revolve it. And when you revolve it, it's going to spin it around like so, right? And that's our revolve axis, is the centerpiece there. And I'm going to delete my other revolve there I had a moment ago. And there's what our bowl would look like if it's going to be solid. But since we are doing this in the laser cutter, we can't really make a solid thing like this. So we are going to slice it up basically and make a big mess out of it. So to slice it up though, we need a whole bunch of surfaces to kind of slice it at. And to do that, we call these planes, right? Planes are these surfaces, and we're going to say, build a couple of them off this front surface here. So we are going to say new plane, click on this surface, and then instead of typing in a number here, we're going to use that variable we have, so that if we decide, actually I want those gaps to be a little bit bigger between the ribs or smaller, we can really easily change that later. And I'll show you what that looks like later. So it's important when you first do that, you're just going to type the first letter, and usually it's going to pop up there. And look at that, it says spacing. I just click on that, fills in the gap, hashtag spacing, and that's going to create that surface at just the right spot. And then I'm going to repeat that again, clicking on that new surface though now. So now it's spacing again, and now I got my third layer, and that gap there between the two is the same, and I'm going to keep repeating that until I'm, oops, I click on the wrong thing? I clicked on the wrong thing. Spacing is my variable I'm putting in there again, and it looks like my next one would be off the edge, so I can stop there. So, gets pretty messy pretty quick here. We're getting a lot of things happening here. So, the good news is, though, we can now start making some parts here and just do a mirror on them later, because we have, it's going to be the same on the other side. So from here, we are going to say new sketch, and we're going to make a new sketch on each of these surfaces. So before I do that, though, I'm going to help keep this organized. I'm going to select all three of these planes, and I'm going to try and grouping these together. So if I right-click on those, I can say add selections to a folder. So it just keeps everything nice and neat over here. As we get a ton of stuff, it's going to open up over here. So I'm going to say front, because they're all made from the front plane. I'm going to say front planes. Give it some name that's kind of relates, because it's related to this one here. And now if I want to hide those, I can really easily just clean this up and put in that little drop-down menu there. But now I'm going to make a sketch, and I'm going to do a new sketch on each of these surfaces. So I click there. I'm going to hide these other ones for a moment. And now, basically, I want all this surface to be, the outside surface to be part of this layer here. So I'm going to come up here, and there's a tool called Intersect. And that's going to take where this object intersects. And how this software works is you have to click on each little surface here. So you're going to have to do several clicks here each time. And I'm clicking on the outside edge and the bottom too. And there you go. You can start to see that is going to give us that shape there that we're looking for. And then we're just going to say OK for now. And then we are going to hide that plane and do the next plane and repeat. Do it again. All right. Intersect. Boom, boom, boom. This time I don't need to click the bottom because it's not touching the bottom there. And then I repeat again. And I say this time I want the next plane though. And I'm repeating. Intersect. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm done. And now I do one more. I'm going to say new sketch on this last plane here. And I'm going to say intersect, boom, boom, boom. We get a tiny little slice there. And I can hide that. And now, if I hide some things here, you can start, oop, it looks like I missed something there. But I can fix that real easy. And there it is. I get that piece now. All right. And we'll hide that again so we can kind of see everything. And now you can see I'm starting to get those layers there. All right. Now we can actually start making some 3D pieces here. So I'm going to say extrude. And I know I only have half the pieces here, but again, we're going to mirror image these, so it's going to go really fast. So this is kind of important that we do a symmetric, which means instead of just having the surface and extruding in one direction, we're going to have that surface where our drawing is and extruding both directions to get the total thickness. And you'll see what that looks like here. And again, that's the thickness there that we always use. That's the thickness of the material. And you can see that sketches in the middle, and it goes both ways to get to that thickness that we want. Just so everything kind of stays symmetrical as we line things up here. And the good news is we can do all these parts in one extrude. So we can boom, boom, boom. I got all those parts right now. And I'm saying, yep, I'm good. Now, that part is the center part. So I'm going to hide this one actually for a moment. I'm going to bring back that front plane right there. And now I can do a mirror image over that to mirror the entities And this is, oh, entities to mirror, excuse me. These are the things I want to mirror. The mirror plane is that surface. And there we got it. And let's see, I'll bring that part back so you can see it again. And that is looking pretty good now, right? I got all those pieces going in that direction. And I'm even going to hide this again. So you can see we get really messy here real fast. So let's pause for a moment and kind of group some things together here, like this. All these sketches, I'm going to say front sketch. Front sketches. And all right, we're looking pretty good here. So we're going to try and not do all that work again. So I got another trick here for you. Instead of repeating that and doing it in the opposite direction here, we're going to make a copy of these and rotate them. Since this is a radial symmetrical object, it's a bowl, right? It's round in every direction, it should be the same. We are going to do a little copying here. So we're going to say transform. Again, this is in 3D mode. I know there's a lot of new buttons you probably haven't tried out yet, so feel free to pause this video. And I'm going down here to rotate. As I just mentioned, we were going to rotate this. The entities to transform, we want all of these pieces. All of those are going to get rotated. And we're going to do it at 90 degrees. But next we have to choose the axis, which is actually from our original sketch. It's that line right down the center. That is right dead center of our object right now, of our bowl. And look at that. That is looking pretty good. And finally, this is an important one. We want to make a copy, so we keep the old pieces too. And we push copy and we say OK. And look at that. We officially have something that looks like a bowl. That is pretty sweet. That went pretty quickly to some extent. So the thing you might be saying right now is, hey, this isn't going to fit together right now because there's no notches. These don't interlock right now. So yeah, that is true. This is not ready to go yet. So what we're going to have to do here is go back and add some notches in some of the parts. We're not going to have to do all of them, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that in a little bit. But you're going to have to put the notches in each of these parts here. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm changing my mind. I just realized another step that we can take out here. So when we did that, let's go back here, open up transform again. Instead of doing all of them, let's do only half of them. So that now we'll do a reflection so that we can only have to put the notches in these ones, and then we'll reflect to get all the other ones. So let's push OK there. All right, and we'll look at from the side here for a moment. This is going to get a little hairy here. So let's do, again, one at a time here. And we're going to say new sketch. And I'm going to start with this small piece on the edge here. New sketch on there. And I'm going to say intersect. We're going to use that intersect button again. And we're going to say intersect with this piece, and this piece, and this piece, and all these side pieces here. And that's going to give us all that. And now I'm going to say hide. We're going to click on this piece here. Hide other parts. So I'm only going to see that one part right now. Notice I had to kind of come around so I wasn't clicking on my sketch. I was clicking on the piece here to avoid this kind of invisible window box thing here. All right, so now we're looking at that. Basically what we're looking to do here is draw a nice line like so, and we'll do the same thing on the middle piece here. And then instead of doing that one, actually it would be a better idea to do a symmetrical thing going on here and do a reflection to get that line in the exact same spot. So whenever possible, we want to try and keep symmetry going as best as possible. So we're going to reflect that, and we're going to now say extrude, and we're going to remove these little notches. So I'm going to remove all the top notches on all the pieces I'm doing. So all the top pieces. So now let's hide all our pieces and then we'll bring it back. I don't want to see number one anymore. Now this piece has the notches in it. And now we're going to have to repeat and do all these other ones as we go here. All right. So just do the same thing I just did for all these other pieces. I'm going to pause the video and actually do this with you and probably start a new video actually. So this is getting kind of long.